But the more dramatic impact here may be that these cost savings allow some businesses to become viable that haven't been up until now. Small businesses will have a chance to prove themselves by becoming profitable sooner. Or some larger scale enterprises will be freeing themselves from human resource scaling, making some of them economically viable. Hey everyone, this video is sampled from my online course which teaches you tokenomics for fundraising. You'll learn about the fundraising process, key tokenomic concepts, and get a complete spreadsheet model that you'll learn how to use by solving real-world fundraising problems. You can find the link to the full course in the description section below. And if you'd like to support this channel and help me to create more free content, please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. That's all. Now back to the video. And now it's time for the final section of this marathon lecture. We've profiled a number of specific applications using public smart contracts and hopefully communicated a compelling value proposition for each one of them. But before we finish, I think it's a good idea to now go around the topic of value creation one more time, shifting the emphasis from a question of what can we do with this technology to what does it mean? I'm hoping that this will help settle your understanding of the business relevance of this technology in more general terms, and it should also help give you a few value-add themes to keep an eye out for when you're evaluating a new blockchain project or in case you're considering the possible benefits of applying this technology to an operational business or a pre-existing business model. Let's preview the main points I'll cover in this section. The key points for this big picture summary are cost savings, better scalability, lower costs of capital, new business models becoming available, and accelerated innovation. So first off, cost savings. These will arrive from the automation of internal and external processes. Closely related to this, there are going to be fewer costs on auxiliary services like low-level payments control, legal, accounting, etc. We then have the opportunity to create fully direct-to-customer services that remove any middlemen and their fees. Trust building becomes cheaper, effectively lowering hidden user acquisition costs. The open code environment facilitates shared learning, and this also is likely to show up in faster development times. Lower costs are great because they leave more value to be passed on to financial stakeholders and the end consumer. But the more dramatic impact here may be that these cost savings allow some businesses to become viable that haven't been up until now. Small businesses will have a chance to prove themselves by becoming profitable sooner. Or some larger scale enterprises will be freeing themselves from human resource scaling, making some of them economically viable. These technologies don't just change costs at specific scales, but also help smoothen the transition between them. As we saw in the last chart, a given automation design may prove to be highly scalable without requiring large reconfigurations as the user base grows. This translates into fewer additional capital requirements for scaling. Lower trust-related costs also facilitate cross-border scaling faster. Although we may expect KYC requirements to become more demanding as the sector becomes more regulated, there are lots of blockchain-based initiatives which could restore a relatively frictionless scaling experience alongside the stronger KYC oversight and compliance requirements. Next, we have improved financing. That smoother scaling and the economic viability and smaller and larger scales all mean that less does more. And that helps de-risk early-stage funding and expands the pool of viable investors to smaller investment players. Going public is generally cheaper with blockchain too, and we can expect those costs to fall further as technology and the capacity of decentralized exchanges improves. This early exchangeability means that startup investors who make their investments through the purchase of tokens can realize financial returns earlier than they would be able to under an equity investment. I think this liquidity advantage over equity is likely to be retained, even though after 2022, we're probably going to see those liquidations pushed further back as everyone learns that blockchain startups still need to build at a slower pace in order to be sustainable in the long run. All of this lowers risks for investors, increases the pool of funding available, and streamlines the funding process for startups, lowering visible and hidden costs of capital. And of course, there are a myriad of new business opportunities. Some will be defined by new possibilities enabled by new types of digital assets or needs created by other services already established in the blockchain economy. Business designers themselves now have an array of tools at their disposal that are entirely new in the business experience: programmable incentives, contracts, and low-cost broad monitoring. And if the metaverse and AR and VR live up to their promise and move more of our experiences into digital spaces, more and more economic activity will unfold in digital contexts that are naturally suited to lever smart contract capabilities. Now, this range of benefits will be captured by firms and consumers at all scales of enterprise, but I think the proportional effect will be greatest for startups at the smaller end of the scale. And I think that this technology will help accelerate the pace of innovation. This is going to accelerate that trend we've been seeing with productivity-enhancing technology, which is shifting the risk-reward ratio to entrepreneurial endeavor and makes it more accessible to individuals using fewer resources. That's something I'm personally very excited to see. And that's it. So a long lecture, but hopefully one you feel adds up to a thorough introduction to smart contracts. We saw how we go from digital currency blockchain to smart contract platforms, looked at some of the security and trust mechanics of how they work and compared them with traditional app development approaches. We then looked in depth at contracting and other use cases of smart contracts before finally zooming out to touch on some of the general economic implications for business. The implications and the possibilities here are vast. And this is the material that I really think will prove to be revolutionary about blockchain. And with that, we truly do come to the end. Next time, we'll conclude our Blockchain 101 series with a look at various terms and jargon. It won't be a deep dive like this session, just a quick introduction to help you find your way around without you having to look up words and concepts every other sentence. I'll see you there.